here's the deal. I'm going to start with personal. If we had had an agent, they didn't have buyer's agents when Kent and I bought our townhome, but if we had had a buyer's agent, which is what I am for my clients, we would have understood that the choice to stay in that house was going to be financially bad for us. And we would have had some outs that we didn't have or we didn't know we had. So we would not have been upside down for the time that we were upside down on the mortgage.
Did she have to, if you held her to it, did she have to hold to that lease that was agreed, that extra 6 months you had, so you had time to figure out?
She would have had to, yes.
If you pushed that.
But I didn't really, I didn't want to upset her. She was the mother of the student who beat my hair when it caught on fire and got the hair.
So there was a relationship.
There was a relationship
right.
there.
And she had an opportunity to sell it, make money.
And she didn't. And she didn't want to go to the hassle or expense of having another agent. So here's the deal.
So she offered it to you first.
Yeah. And she said, no, you can't have an agent because that's going to cost me money.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, good. Then we'll get a discount. We didn't know.
Opposite.
We didn't know what a fair value was for the property. We didn't know what the process was for a loan. Her friend got us a loan. It was 19%. What the heck?
19%.
There was no inspection because we were living there, so we obviously knew everything about the property. Obviously not.
What's behind the walls?
There was no awareness of title and those kinds of issues. There was no awareness of what was really going on with the HOA. So many pieces.
What taxes was she paying? And
none of those
fees,
pieces.
condo fees, and all this. Yeah.
None of it. And so a buyer's agent is there
to
protect the interests of the buyer. And if the buyer doesn't know, the buyer's agent says, let's take a moment and here's some things to look at. Here's what they could portend. Or just let's look at these and see if this is a concern for you. Because you don't want somebody to freak out or be overwhelmed. Buyer's agent does that. It is crucial for a buyer. Now, you and I are savvy. We've been around a couple times. And we may have bought and sold a couple times. So we know those transactions. Do we know this transaction? Maybe yes, maybe no. I would still use a buyer's agent because there may be some things that are unique for this area or for the time, because 10 years ago is a long time in terms of case law and the like. So I kind of would like that protection. It's a lot of money. That's a buyer's agent. And they help all the way through. Then a seller's agent not only helps you ask the right questions so that you can place your home properly in the market, but they facilitate the showings and the negotiations. Oh, that's a big one. They facilitate the negotiations, and then you think you're done when you've got that? No, you're not sold. I had somebody say, oh yeah, I sold my house. I said, you sold it. I said, you're under contract. You've got to get through that whole contract to closing and have what is at closing survive so nobody comes back and sues you later. That would be awful, wouldn't it? And they're like, oh, that never happens.
More than you think, right?
It can, especially in 2020, 2021, when so many people were overbidding, $20, $30, $40, $100,000 above asking price, waiving their normal outs in the contract so that they could get the house. They could be the one first in line to buy the house. And then they get it and they go, oh no, this is awful. We're going to be having to deal with this and that and the other. And then lawsuits happen. And that's not good. So a good seller's agent in that market made sure there was an inspection. Made sure that the buyer's agent had the information so the buyers would know what's going on. Better to lose a little earnest money than have a big problem later.
A long-term situation.
Especially for the seller. The seller doesn't want to be sued later. It's not good. When you move, you want to be done.
That's it.
And so what does an agent do? All that plus help you meet your lifestyle goals, that's all. Now, is it worthwhile? Yeah. It was for me.
When they're buying a house, or they're buying a car, or buying a TV, or whatever it is, they're buying the person that is offering those things to them as much as they are the thing. So when they're buying a house that Beth has presented, they're believing in you, trusting you, and they're buying Beth as much as not buying Beth, but they are buying into what Beth is presenting, not just the physicality of the building, but you and what you've offered and delivered, the time you took, the way that you've handled them and treated them with respect and understanding and care. We've had family in sales very successfully, and that's what has always been They're buying you. Just like if they watch me on television, listen to me on the radio, and I'm talking about a topic, they're buying
your
me
credibility. It's the trust
as
and
much as they are the
Yeah.
topic at hand.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I think is wonderful about you, is because you present things that are more than just transactional. All right, it's a sale. Got to make a sale today, which is it. You give a complete package when you deal with your clients, which I think is a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
You know,
I
it's a
try
good
to.
way.
It's too important.
That's why you're successful.
But it's too important not to.
Right.
Because where you live matters. How you live matters. And they come together with your home.
Why do you love doing this so much?
I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about the teaching and how the light bulb moments just were galvanizing for me, where something clicks and somebody gets it. For me, for real estate, it's knowing that people are placed well for the lifestyle that enables them to grow and be healthy and well. That for me is the key. And so it's not the same thing for each client. I had somebody say, well, so you put people in this. Well, sometimes, if that's what's the best
What
fit.
they need and want. Yeah.
And what they need and want and can afford. And sometimes they have to start here and do some things, and then here and do some things.
Work your way up.
And over. And it's, where are we now? Where are the opportunities today? And how does that help me get to where I'd like to become?